go. Thank you very much, Jesse, back there. Good morning. Come on in, everybody. Come on in. Find a seat. Make new friends. We're really friendly in here, right? Because I've already met some people. And so come on in, grab a seat, make new friends. We're going to get started. This is kind of like school. You know, we're going to start on time and we're going to end early, just like classes, right? So we're going to start on time. Come on in. Please find a seat. We'd love to meet you. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. We're going to get, new friends here. Come on in. Grab a seat. Anywhere you'd like. Anywhere you'd like. We're going to get started. Here we go. Welcome. I'm Jan Yanahiro, and I'm delighted to be here to greet you this morning. I'm the director of the School of Communications and Media Technologies. I met a new student of mine, and welcome. I've met so many of you, so fun. I met my friends from Dallas, Texas, right here, and San Antonio, where are you? San Antonio, Texas. So let's give it up for the good people of Texas. Woo! Thank you for doing all great things for the people of Houston and for the Southern Galveston and everything else. You know, our hearts go out to so many people, so thank you. Thank you for being here. I also met some people from my home state of Hawaii. Come on, Hawaii! Woohoo! Couple people from Hawaii, and you're so international here. I mean, Mexico, I met somebody from Mexico. Mexico, where are you? Yes, come on, you can hear it, yeah. India. Oh, he's standing up. There you go. In this row, I got a bunch of people from Las Vegas and Reno, Nevada. Come on, let's hear you, let's wave, woohoo! And a lot of people from the Bay Area. I met Rohnert Park. I met Long Beach from California, Rohnert Park, across the Bay, Hayward. So come on, everybody from the Bay Area, give it up for yourselves. Woo! And, you know, and really a lot of people from Florida, too. I met somebody right here. Yeah. Florida, Tampa, there you go. So, as you can see, we are a global community. And we believe in being global, and we believe in diversity, because this is what our world is all about. It is all about diversity. And we respect diversity here at this university. We respect all your ideas and your ideals, your families, your cultures, your creative activities. We respect that. And now we want to officially welcome you as being part of the AAU family. So welcome, family. We want to tell you, too, that we've got cameras here, and they are streaming this session live to everybody who is watching online. And our online audience are global, all over the world. And so we want to welcome everybody watching online. Give them a cheer, everybody. Hi, online people. All right, now to officially welcome you to the university, please give a warm welcome to our Chief Academic Officer, Sue Raleigh. Sue.
Good morning, everybody. Great, you're already responsive. Jan's got you all warmed up. That's great. Anybody from Ohio here? Yay, all right. That's where I'm from. It always gets left out. People think Ohio, Iowa, it's all the same, but it's really not. So anyway, I have a lot to talk to you about, and I'm going to try to keep it pretty concise. But of course, afterwards, you can always come up if you have questions. I think that it's really remarkable that you have found us. Sometimes we're the best kept secret. We'd like that to be different, but somehow people say, I didn't know a school like that existed. So how are we different? Well, the Academy of Art University is, first of all, the largest art and design school in the United States. But why? Why are we the largest? Well, we're the largest because we do something that isn't done at many art schools. And that is, we teach the heavy lifting. We teach people actually how to use their hands and their eyes, the hand-eye coordination, and really draw. See, a lot of schools, a lot of art schools, they may give everybody great grades, but the students don't have a portfolio when they leave. And that's huge. See, if you don't have a portfolio when you leave, a competitive portfolio, if you don't have a professional network, it's going to be very, very hard for your kids to get a job in art and design. How many of you have heard the expression, starving artist? Hold up your hand if you've heard that. I'm sure it makes you shake in your boots. This idea of the starving artist, probably some of you are thinking, and that's why they're going to be living with me for the rest of their lives. But guess what? It won't happen if they stay with us. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we got this recipe for success. I think it's really, really important that you understand our background. The school was started in 1929 by this man, Richard Stevens. Richard Stevens was somebody who wanted to be an artist, just like your kids. He learned to paint and draw in Paris, came back to the United States and said, hey, if I can learn to do this, I can teach others. Now, he couldn't support himself just on that idea, so he started working as an art director for Sunset Magazine. In his mind, this idea that you can do art and design and make a living was already taking shape. Let me show you a little bit of his work. Up. He was a painter, and this was his first class. So he believed a couple things. One, everything you look at is art, whether you look around this room or you look at the clothes you have on or even the watch that you're wearing, it's all, somebody had to design it. And he also believed, this is one of my favorite things, that being an artist is a journey, and you're going to go, it's like learning to see differently. And what happens is, it's like going from, you go into a house, you see one big room, you say, oh, that's nice, and then you go into another room, and now you're starting to zero in and look at the colors differently, and it becomes more intricate, becomes, well, you're seeing more detail. And the student who comes here, it's like maybe some of you never really looked at all the shades of green that there are. The student comes here, they start to notice these things. It changes them. They go from being somebody who is aspiring to being someone who's a professional. I gotta learn how to, whoops, back. So when he retired, his son, Richard Stevens, took the reins. Mr. Stevens kept the same ideals, the same mission, need to be able to get a job. But he also thought, you know, a lot of times people go to school because their parents want them to go, they want them to take certain things, like maybe you should get a liberal arts degree, or you should get a business degree, or why don't you be an accountant? But in their heart, they really want to do art and design. So Mr. Stevens believed that what we really need to do is we need to have a graduate school. So for all those people who really wanted to do art and design but were talked into doing something different, they can still go back to school and get this thing. They can still be the artist. He kept the same ideals that we're going to use pros to teach, so that the students aren't just getting theory, but they're actually watching somebody do something and learning from the pro. When he retired, his daughter, President Elisa Stevens, came into the school, I've had the privilege of working with her for almost 22 years, and she basically said, okay, time to bring digital into the mix. She brought the computers. I can remember when we first walked through the library, and the library said, no, you don't. You're not replacing my books with computers. But that's all changed. Now we have books and computers. And President Stevens is here. President Stevens, you want to stand up and say hello? She really has done a tremendous amount to bring the school to the next level, and she continues to be an innovator. And we're looking at things now, not just digital art, but we're looking at things like virtual reality, augmented reality, and the latest thing is hyper-immersive. All these things are like, wow, the world is changing. But the artist, your student, has to continue to change. So one of the things that I'm going to tell them in a little bit is that they have to, this isn't the end, this is the beginning, and they got to grow the entire time. They got to stay open to criticism, they got to take on things that are brand new, and you, as the parents, are going to play a big role in that. This isn't the end of your job. This is really a new phase. When I look at them in a few hours, I'm going to look at that group, and I'm not going to know who is the next Steve Jobs, or who is going to be Mark Zuckerberg, or who is going to be any of the great artists. I don't know. But I know they all have a shot at it, because they came to a school like this, where we can guarantee a competitive portfolio. And you know, they are going to sit there and they're going to look back at me and they're going to have this smirk on their face, probably. I don't know, maybe they won't, but usually they do. Oh, you don't need to tell me this. I'm cool. I got it all together. But I know deep down inside, they're worried. They're thinking, yeah, I'm excited, but can I really do this? What if I don't? What if I fail? Oh, my parents are going to kill me. All this stuff is going on in their head. Because when you're going to be an artist, you got to put the inside on the outside. And then everybody's going to tell you what they think of it. You know, how many times have you gone to an art gallery and you hear people say, I don't like that, or I really like that? If every artist was standing beside their work, just imagine how difficult that would be. Well, your son or daughter is going to be in a classroom and they're going to have to put their work up on the wall. And everybody's going to give them their opinion, including that pro. And maybe they're not going to hear everybody say they like it. And maybe there's going to start to question whether or not they can really do this thing. Now today, we're going to have a lot of people here and they're going to tell you all the support services that we offer. Because we know, after all these years of working with people just like your son and daughter, that they're going to need support. We have a ton of it. So one of the first things I can tell you as parents is that when they call you and they start to question, can I do it? Was this a mistake? Maybe I don't fit in here. You need to remind them about the support services that you're going to hear about. Because we know they're going to need help. They should. Just think of all the times in their life when they did something for the first time. First time they tried to walk, I bet they fell down. First time they got on a bicycle, I bet they scraped their knee. Maybe they ran into a tree, I don't know. First time they got on a skateboard, oh my gosh. You know, scary. Because you know they're not going to do it perfect the first time. So you didn't tell them not to walk the first time they fell down. You didn't tell them, don't get back on that bicycle the first time they crashed. And this is the same thing. You need to remind them, you never do anything perfectly the first time you do it. It takes practice. How many of you guys follow the Warriors? Any Warriors fans here? Few of you. Well, the Warriors, Stephen Curry, I'm sure you all know who he is, right? You've seen it. Okay. He didn't get like that the first time he went on the basketball court. I mean, listen, he was a short guy, comparatively speaking, but he kept at it. He kept working on it. He developed his own brand of basketball, and now he's a superstar. Now, maybe your kids aren't going to be superstars, but you need to remind them it doesn't just happen overnight. This is a process. This is a journey. Remember, Mr. Stevens said it's like going through a room of a house. Every room becomes more intricate, colorful, because you're learning to see differently. This is the process. In the past, this may have been their experience. This was done by one of our students. I think somebody probably asked him to draw what it was like in high school. Pretty scary. But they weren't academics. They were the ones that were doodling in the room. It takes courage to come here. It's a leap of faith. Your son and daughter have chosen us, and they trust that we're going to help them get to that next level. We're going to make them fly. We're going to be there to support them if they fall. We're going to give them an extra leg up. For some of them, this is the Mecca. They finally made it. Art school in San Francisco, if I was them, I'd be skipping down the sidewalk right now. It's a great idea. What could be more artistic than this wonderful city of San Francisco? And we do have sunshine sometimes, just in case you were wondering. But about midterms, this is how it feels. It's the dark night of the soul. Oh my gosh. Finals, I'm not where I hoped I'd be. And then that's where you step in again. This is a process. Keep your eyes on the horizon. Think about where you want to be 5 years now. Don't give up. One of the worst things you can do for a young artist is after the first mistake, after the first lower grade, maybe a C, maybe a D, maybe they have to repeat the course, is to tell them to quit. Because there are so many great artists that just weren't successful the first time around. I'm going to tell them about Walt Disney. You know, Walt Disney was almost destitute. He was on a train going to live with his brother because he didn't have any money. And he was doodling on that train when Mickey Mouse came out. So you don't want to tell them, give up. You want to be there to cheer them on, to tell them you believe in them, and hopefully you can tell them, those people at that orientation, they said this would happen, but they've got support. They've got workshops. They've got people there to give you extra help if you need it. So in closing, I just want to say this. This is kind of old school, but it really works. Care packages are a really good thing. If they have a favorite chocolate chip cookie or whatever it is, send it. Don't be afraid to send a card. Everything doesn't have to be a text message. Sometimes having something that they can give to their friends, that they can say, oh, my mom, look what she sent, chocolate chip cookies. It's going to be like bees to honey. They're all going to, all of a sudden they have all these new friends. Because really, you continue to be the most important person in their life. And your love and your support means everything. I want to introduce one person before I get off the stage. This is somebody that is not in our regular program, but you should know. This is Lauren Spain, and she is head of our Career Services program. Just so you know, we really do talk about jobs day one on. So Lauren, you want to say hi?
Good morning. So, you're enrolled here. You're going to be an artist. What does that mean at the end of the game? It means getting a job. There are so many different, we have 23 different programs here, so there are so many different job opportunities available. But it's important to know how to start, where to start, what to start with. Our Career Services Department offers so many different tools for you, including reviewing your resume line by line, helping you draft a cover letter, going through your demo reel and your portfolio to make sure that it has your best work, and then connecting you to industry. We have the Campus Industry Outreach Program, which brings different industry partners onto campus to come review your work, to give presentations, to tell you what it takes to work at Pixar or Disney. And so we encourage you to reach out. We are available through your entire educational experience, including after you graduate. We do offer alumni services. I helped a woman who graduated in class of 1989 with her resume this year, so we are always available. Anyway, just wanted to give you a little bit about our department. I'll be outside if anyone has questions afterward. Thank you.
So I'm going to turn it back over to Jan. She can't wait to get back up here.
I'm here, I'm ready. All right, thank you, Sue, thank you, Lauren. Please give them a warm thank you. Now, one of the things that we know you are concerned about, and we are too, is your students' safety. And we want to tell you that in this university, this is a secure campus. And here to tell you all about it is Mike Petrika, really good guy. He's a dad, he's a grandpa. Vice President of Campus Safety and Lab Resources. And just one more thing about Mike. This guy right here, former detective and former police chief. So we are safe. Mike.
Thank you, Jan. I'm from Chicago. Anybody here from Chicago? Boom. All right, how about the Cubs? 2 in a row. Well, thank you for coming. I was just talking to Dr. Stevens. This is the fun part about coming to school here is when the kids return. Because for the last several weeks, it's been boring because we've been in intercession, and now finally the kids are coming, meeting the parents. And the message that Sue gives you is really spot on, because I was just like you 12 years ago. I was sitting in the back row. I was working for AT&T at the time with their public safety team. Before that, I was a police chief or a police officer for 20 years in the state of Iowa. And my daughter wanted to go to the Academy of Art. I go, what? And where? Where is that? And so we brought her down here, loaded up the pickup truck, took her out to Octavia, and then came to our first orientation. And I was really concerned. I go, this is a crazy town. I grew up in Chicago, but hey, San Francisco is, I think, a whole nother level. And we brought her here. And I was sick to my stomach. I cried a little bit, definitely on the way home. And back to Roseville. I don't know if anybody here from Roseville? Roseville? Joe's from Roseville. Sacramento? Sacramento? Back there, okay. And so it's very traumatic. And then just a few minutes ago, I was talking to a couple from L.A., and his daughter's name is Emily. My daughter's name is Emily, and I dropped her off. And he goes, you know what, Mike? I'm bringing my baby here, and you're going to have to take care of her. And I go, absolutely. So lo and behold, about 6 months later, Dr. Stevens called me up out of nowhere because she heard about me from another vice president. And she asked me, while I was in the state of Texas on a road trip for the company, AT&T, would you like to be the first campus safety director for the Academy of Art? And I go, heck yes. I get to come back, go to school with my daughter, take care of her, and all that deep, sickening feeling in my stomach went away. I knew I could come here. I knew I could make a difference. I knew I could take care of my daughter. And at the same time, I knew that was going to be very expensive hanging out with Emily every day. A lot of dinners, a lot of lunches, and a lot of toys that she needed for school. And I never said no. And so that's how I started here. And back to the other Emily, that process of keeping the kids safe is very entrenched in our campus safety department. And I'm going to show you a few things and ask you for a few. I need you to help me, because as a past police chief, there's no way I can be everywhere all the time. I have 100 people working in the campus safety department, but I need your help, I need the students' help to really make this a safe place. I can't do it alone, and no police department can do that. And if you notice, every police department in the nation has a strong crime prevention program. We do the same thing here at the Academy of Art. First of all, here's the leadership team. On the far left is Sam Salmon. He's our host manager. He takes care of all the host operations. I'm going to talk about hosts in a little bit, so just hang on to that concept. Person in the middle in the red shirt is Steve Picard. He's our technology guy. And we have a lot of technology that we drive here at the Academy of Art from a campus safety perspective, let alone from an IT perspective for the entire university. We have a very strong network, and we leverage that network as part of our campus safety strategy. James Holman is in the black jacket. He's our administrative assistant. He kind of runs the show, really helps me out a lot. And then Ari Aristotle, he's our patrol supervisor. He supervises our patrol team that's out there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Really, they're kind of like the police department of the campus. They answer the calls. They talk to the students. They handle crimes and incidents that happen throughout the university and assist the students every day. Here's what we look like. That's a lot of people. And when I first started here, it was basically just a guard service that was contracted. Dr. Stevens and her team, they found a security company that could take care of things, and that's how it was handled. And, you know, when I came here 12 years ago, I thought, you know, I could live with that, but I was really glad when she called me and we could put together our own team, and she was very supportive about that. So here's the first thing I need help with. And we are very card access, card-centric, credential. We have credentials that we distribute to every student and staff and contractor. So what does that mean? Well, when I first started here, all the doors were open. You could just go in and out as you wanted at most universities in the country. You can go to Cal, you can go to USF, you can go to Sac State, and you can walk around that campus and go in every door. We are a closed campus all the time. Our doors are locked, and that's one of the first things we did with Dr. Stevens and I when we first talked. We had to lock the doors because people were coming in and they were stealing things from the students and staff. It was really hard to control. So we ask every student to wear their ID proudly. So can you help me tell your student to wear their IDs and don't pack them away and leave them in their room or leave them in their purse or in their wallet, to wear them? Can we do that? Are you going to talk to them about that? Thank you. It's very important. You know, universities, they talk about, oh, we're going to go on lockdown. You know, if an incident occurs of an active shooter or natural disaster, we're going to go on lockdown. We're on lockdown all the time, and I think that's really a safe thing. Since we've done that, we've cut crime on campus significantly, over 50% over the 12 years. It's been a very, very positive thing to do. This is Zizi. She's one of our campus safety hosts, and that's another unique thing that we do here at the Academy. And when I my first few weeks, Dr. Stevens called me up. She goes, Mike, I want to take you for a drive. I go, really? What the heck does that mean? You know, we're going to go for a drive. And so I met her at the 79 building downtown, and she took me to the Ritz Hotel. She took me in the front door, and she goes, you see that? And I go, no, not really. She goes, you see that person there? And standing in the middle of the lobby was a lady standing, greeting every patron that came into the hotel. She goes, that's what I want. I go, I can do that. And so we started the host program. So at every building, in every residential hall that is a high-density residential hall, there's about 5 or 6 of them. But every academic building, we have a host. And what they're there to do is to check IDs, greet the students, and answer their questions. And the students are going to ask a lot of questions. And they don't know the first few weeks of school where their classes are, who their department director is, how to get on the shuttles, how to find their way around the city, where to get lunch. And that's what our hosts are doing. And so they're there, and you saw that our hosts out in front just a few minutes ago when you came in the building. So that's what your student's going to see on the first day of school, is that host greeting them. And what I found out from my daughter, and then a lot of stories afterwards, is that these hosts are going to be the people, they're going to be the go-to people that I think are going to keep the students in school, because they can really facilitate a friendship, a relationship, and a very powerful purpose for the students. So they're going to, that's our host program. That augments our patrol program. Getting back to card access, I just had a real interesting incident this morning. I live out at a residential hall out on Lombard Street. And this morning at 7 o'clock, I saw a student out there at 7 in the morning in pajamas, very upset. She was on the phone. It was an international student. And I walked down to her. I go, "What's the problem?" And she goes, "I can't get my ID to work at the office door." She wanted to go into the kitchen, probably to make breakfast. And so, "Well, let me see your ID." Like, she gave me the ID, and I swiped it, and the door opened right away. And she looked at me, and she go, "How did you make magic happen?" You know? And I go, "Show me what you did, or try to use this card on that door, and let me see what you're doing." So she swiped it, and she grabbed the door handle like an alligator, choking an alligator, and she started shaking the door, and it wouldn't work. So again, my point is, when your students, when your sons and daughters use their card, tell them to wait a second, let the door click, and then go on in. They also pass out the newspaper. We have a great newspaper here. It comes out every 2 weeks. Highlights a lot of student work. Have them send you the newspaper, because I think you need to know what's going on here on campus. So if you have an opportunity, if they can mail it home to you, or if you can get some way to get that newspaper to your house, that's a really good reference point for you. At every host desk, we have a sophisticated video system. We're recording 300-400 cameras all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We store it for 30 days. And this has come in very handy for solving crimes, solving incidents on campus, and helping students out, because a lot of times they leave things laying around, and we can see what they did a lot of the time and get this stuff back to them. Here's what our patrol officers look like. They don't carry guns, and that's a good thing. We can handle it without that. We are very passive in what we do, and our game plan is just to observe and report and work closely with the police department. We have a bike patrol program. That's Ari on his bike, and he scoots around and really hits what we really focus on is the residential hall areas. He's up and down with his team on the residential halls, checking floors, checking doors, and that's a really good thing for our students to see. Here's our communication center. You can see that we're monitoring cameras, the card access system. We monitor the buses and that middle video system right there. We monitor all the buses. A lot of students call us up to ask where the buses are. We can tell them real time where those buses are headed to, why they're late, or whatever questions they have. But this is where we also give out our IDs down here also. And that's our next picture. You can see when they lose their IDs or new students come in, we can give them their IDs real time right away. From a disaster recovery perspective, we have TV screens in each and every building, in the lobbies, the cafeterias, that are posting information about what's going on campus, all the events, athletic events, workshops, campus events that are sponsored by different departments. We put those up there, but in a real-time disaster or emergency, we broadcast it over these TV screens so the students can see what's going on. We'll talk about this later, we also have a text messaging system, which I'll explain to you in a second. The number one crime, I promised the captain of the Central District that I would mention this because it is important. The number one crime here in San Francisco is car burglaries. So please, pick up this brochure that I have in the back, but if you can remember, don't ever leave anything of value in your car if you're coming to visit or if you're renting a car. This is a true story. The captain, about 6-7 months ago, had an incident where a tourist had $17,000 stolen out of their rental car, cash. It happens. It's the number one crime. So please don't leave anything. Don't even put it in the trunk. Take it with you, okay? And there's some tips on there on the back of the brochure I have there. Make sure you get it. It's about climate and things like that, important phone numbers for the police department. Here are some great tips, and I just want to go over them real quick. Sign up for text messaging. If you could take a picture of this, go ahead and do that. But I also have it in the brochure in the back, is sign up for text messaging at EasyArtU 313131. Make sure your sons and daughters sign up, and you're allowed to sign up for it too. We'd love to send you that same message. Have them wear their ID. That's very important. Never leave personal items unattended. Now, we have several incidents every semester where kids leave their computers laying around and then go to lunch, or they go to the bathroom, or they just leave it for the night where they're working at a studio. Tell them to pack it up and take it with them. You know, we can't solve every crime. We can't stop every crime. Sometimes there's even thieves amongst us. Just make sure that they don't leave it laying around, because it's really sad, because they're going to be putting a lot of work in these computers. I've seen students that have had their whole 3-4 years of work on their computer, then it gets stolen and it's lost. So please tell them never leave it laying around, or backpacks, cell phones, tablets, whatever. The lost and found is at our campus safety office at 180 New Montgomery. I have a brand new Dell laptop that a student that we found, and we've had it for several weeks in my office, and the kid still hasn't come to claim it. I'm going to give it to IT and see if they could break into the disk drive and get it back to him, but that's the kind of stuff that we're picking up every day. Utilize campus safety escorts. Dr. Stevens, several years ago, said, Mike, we're going to start picking up kids that are lost. It's like, we're not going to leave any kids behind like the Army does. They're never going to leave a soldier behind. We're not going to leave any kids behind. So since we started this program up, we literally pick up at least 20 to 30 kids every night and escort them around the city in conjunction with our bus fleet. The bus fleet also has what we call a campus cruiser. We have a campus cruiser, and we're picking up these kids from all over the city. We've gone as far away as Oakland. We've gone down the peninsula to San Jose. I don't know how they get lost, but they get lost. And one thing, make sure you tell them, and kids will be kids, that it's not the party car, okay? It's not Uber where we're going to pick them up at one bar and take them to another bar. It's serious stuff. We want to find them, take them back, and get them home, and get them safe and sound. Tell them to beware of their surroundings. Have their heads on a swivel. Pair up in teams when they go walking around the city. There's safety in that. No earbuds in their ears. They're not on their phone. Because cell phone theft used to be the #1 theft or crime in San Francisco, and that got surpassed by car burglaries. I think a lot of the cell phones now are harder to get rid of, but they're still stealing them at a pretty good clip, and we're still going to have several instances this year. Next slide. Oops, go back, Joe, sorry. Again, take a good picture of this slide, because all the Emilys out there in the world, right? Where's the Emily? We're all the Emilys in the world, my Emily and their Emily. You got to have a go-to guy that's going to take care of your daughter, and I promise you I will take care of your daughter and your son. That's my mission. When Dr. Stevens hired me, she kind of saw I was kind of intense, and she's kind of mellowed me out over the years. So what I do is that I'm going to give you my personal cell phone number, 415-994-6077. Call me up day or night. I don't care if it's 2, 3 in the morning. I will answer that phone call, and I will take care of your problem immediately. I had a parent email me a couple days ago. He wanted to meet me. He's bringing his daughter from the southern part of the United States. I think it was Georgia. And he brought his wife and his daughter. He set up a meeting with me a couple days ago. He wanted to meet me. He wanted to know who was going to be taking care of his daughter for the next 4 years. So he came to my office, and he sat down, and I go, what do you want to talk about? He looked at me, and he goes, I just want to meet you. That's it. I want you to meet me, and I want to meet you so we know each other. And that's a good challenge, isn't it? That's a really cool challenge. Just go meet the guy that's going to take care of your kid. I'm that guy. I'll take care of him. Other great numbers, Campus Safety Department 3911, Emergencies, we have 911 here. And the non-emergency number is 5530123. The campus shuttles, super important. Know that number, because that's our lifeblood of getting the kids around. We got a great transportation system. I think one of the best in the country, let alone the city. These guys hate being late. They're waiting for the kids, and they try to get them to where they're going safely. We added Facebook a couple weeks ago. We had an old Facebook page, but now we got a new Facebook page. I don't know how to use it, but I'm telling you about it. Okay? I don't know about Facebook. My wife likes Facebook. My kids like Facebook. But I know it's good because I've seen it. They work it for me so I can look at it and approve the content on it. But I encourage you to take a look at our Facebook page and see who's taking care of your sons and daughters, who's taking care of that Emily. Okay? Thank you very much. Jan?
Great job, Mike. Great job. Once a police chief, always a police chief. Thank you, Mike. We are safe, right? All right. Next important topic for a lot of families, finance. And here to tell you all about financial aid, please welcome Joe Villaro, Executive Vice President of Financial Aid. Joe,
Thank you,
to
Jan.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. Well, tomorrow, August 31st, marks 36 years in financial aid for me. I started August 31st, 1981. Been trying to make financial aid exciting for 36 years. I have failed. I just can't do it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to go through this. I'm going to give you some key things to remember, and I'll be here afterwards to answer your questions because finances are sensitive. See how exciting that is? So right now we're in the fall 17 semester, and the academic year is the 17-18 academic year, so it's fall 17, spring 18, summer 18. So you want to complete that 17-18 FAFSA if you're applying for financial aid. That FAFSA is going to ask you for income information from 2015. That's a change from when they started financial aid back in 1965. They would only go back 1 year and ask for information about 2016. But I'm going to tell you why they changed that recently, and it makes applying for financial aid a lot easier and quicker. So again, fall 17, spring 18, summer 18 is the current FAFSA. If you go on www.fasfa.gov, you would fill out the 17-18 FAFSA to see what you would qualify, or your son or daughter would qualify for financial aid. A good change that they made, it used to be you could not apply for the 18-19 year until January 1st of 2018. They changed that, and they made it where you can now apply for that on October 1st, 2017. And that's the reason why they're going back 2 years on income. So instead of using 2017 income, because on October 1st, 2017, nobody's filed their taxes yet. Even on January, nobody's filed their taxes. February, you probably haven't filed your taxes. March, maybe. April, hopefully. So what they did is, for next year, when you apply for 18-19, they're going to look at your 2016 income. If the student is independent, they'll just look at the student's income and his or her spouse. And if the student's dependent, they're going to also look at the parent income. So now what you can do is on October 1st, which is about a month away, if you complete the 2018-19 FAFSA, you can have all this done through summer of 2019. That'd be great, because you don't want to do this stuff. This stuff's not fun. Filling out the forms and doing all this is not fun. So get it over with. One thing that we provide, which is great, is we do have 2 departments in financial aid. We have a department that works with new students, which would be for your sons or daughters, and a department that works with continuing students. So find out, or have your son or daughter find out who the financial aid representative is. And the primary responsibility, it's twofold. One is to get everything done, get all the paperwork done, fill out the FAFSA, do the promissory notes, do all that boring stuff. And number 2 is take a look at how much it costs to go to school, tuition fees, room and board, and how much financial aid is available. because if there is a difference, for example, if the financial aid is $8,000 and the cost is $10,000 and there's a $2,000 difference, you want to work with that financial aid representative to see how that could be paid, either through a payment plan, or maybe you'd make a lump sum payment, or look for scholarships, that type of thing. So get it all done. If you don't know who your financial aid representative is, if you're a new student, you just call this number. If you have a pen, you can write it down, 415-618-6300. And if you're a continuing student, that means you're going to get a new financial aid representative once you go into your second semester, third semester, and so on. And that number is the 415-618-6300. Did I get that right? No, that's 6190. Continuing, 6190. New students, 6300. And once you get all that done, you get it done for this year, you get it done for next year, it's one less thing you have to worry about. Just a few other things in terms of types of financial aid. Everybody wants grants. Grants are great. Grants you don't have to pay back. So when you fill out that FAFSA, it's based on a government formula. You're going to see what you're eligible for on the Pell Grant. It's based on income. It's based on assets. It's based on family size. There's a supplemental grant we'll see if you qualify for. Again, free money. And of course, there's the Cal Grant, which if you are a California resident, or if you're going to be a California resident living here for at least a year with the intention of staying in California, you want to make sure you complete that FAFSA, the bottom one, 1819, by March 1st, 2018. That's the deadline from the California Student Aid Commission. We don't determine eligibility for the Cal Grant. It's based on two things. One is financial strength, and the other is the student's GPA, either at their high school or at their previous college if they've earned enough credits. And even if you don't get it the first time, apply for it every year. You might not get it the first year, you might not get it the second year, but you might get it the third year or the fourth year. Again, you do it once a year through the California Student Aid Commission. Two things you have to do: fill out that FAFSA by March 1st, and then we have to complete a GPA verification form, usually done by the high school. If you're applying for it and you've been at the academy for a year or two, and you've earned at least 24 credits, then we're going to use your GPA at the Academy of Art. So maybe you didn't have a good high school GPA, maybe it was 2.5. You come to the Academy of Art, you're doing well, your GPA is 3.0, 3.1, apply for it. That's probably going to qualify the student. It doesn't cost anything to apply for it. You just do the FAFSA, and we'll do the GPA certification form if the student's been here for a while, and the California Student Aid Commission will let you know if you qualify for that. It's up to $9,800 per academic year. Free money. So you definitely want to do that. Student loans, you know, in my opinion, doing this for so many years, I think student loans are good if you need them. But I do caution that when you do the student loans for 4 years or 5 years, just borrow what you need and don't overborrow. The Department of Education has a formula where it allows people to possibly borrow more than they really need. If you need $10,000, apply for $10,000. Because at the end of the day, when school is over and the students graduated, you want to keep that debt as low as possible. There's a lot of articles about student loan debt topping $1.2 trillion. There's a lot of student loan debt out there, and I think it's a good thing. The interest rates are very competitive. They're very low. Take them out if you need them. If you don't need them, don't take them out. That's my opinion on student loans. We have the Federal Direct Student Loan. We have the Parent Plus loan for parents of dependent students, and the Grad Plus loan for graduate students. There's also private loans. If you go to our website, you will see, if you go to finances and click on alternative lenders, there are other banks that will make loans to students. The guidelines are not as good as the Federal Direct Student Loans. Interest rate might be a little bit higher. You might need a cosigner, but again, the money's there if you need it. But again, try to keep the loans as low as possible. Federal Work Study. We are eligible for Federal Work Study. It is based on financial need. If your son or daughter wants to work while they're in school, we do have that program. some people want to work while they're in school. Some people don't want to work while they're in school. They want to just study and concentrate on the schoolwork. But some people want that extra money in their pocket. I was one of the ones that wanted extra money in my pocket. I flipped pizza for 4 years in Tampa, Florida, at the Italian Pavilion when I was going to school, and that's what I chose to do. Other people, they don't want to go to work while they're in school. If your son or daughter are interested in federal work study, then I would contact financial aid, ask for Kenny Ortiz, and he will either let you know if there's a job available or put you on a waiting list to call you once a job becomes available. We usually try to keep the hours 20 or below. We don't want the student to be working so much where they're not going to be able to do their coursework. Again, the most important thing is coursework, graduating, and getting a job. We are also approved by Veterans Administration. So if your son or daughter or possibly are eligible through themselves or as a dependent, Veterans benefits, we have probably about 800 students at the Academy of Art that are on veterans benefits. We don't determine eligibility for veterans benefits. That's done by the VA office, by the VA regional office closest to where you live. The only thing we do is we certify attendance. So if they're eligible for, let's say, for example, the post 9/11 GI Bill, we would go ahead and certify the students in 12 units, 9 units, 6 units, and the VA will send the money to the school, and we would apply to the student account or present it to the student if the account is paid for. It's a great benefit. It pays tuition fees. There's a stipend for housing. There's a stipend for books. So work with, again, our financial aid department. We do have 2 full-time VA representatives that will help you through that process. We're also what's called approved for yellow ribbon through VA. And basically what that means is, let's say, for example, the cost of tuition and fees is $10,000 and VA pays $8,000, you got $2,000 left. Since we're yellow ribbon, what will happen is the VA will pay half of that $2,000 and the Academy of Art will pay the other half, the other $1,000. So they don't pay, you won't have to pay anything. So again, take advantage of VA benefits if you qualify. Last thing I want to talk about is one thing that the Department of Education and the VA wants us to monitor on every student receiving federal funds is something called satisfactory academic progress. How well is the student doing in school? Are they passing their classes? What's their GPA? Are they dropping classes? What is their completion rate? That's something we have to monitor every semester. So we have to do 2 things. We have to monitor what the student's cumulative GPA is, and also how many credits they've completed as a percentage of how many credits they've attempted. And if that gets out of whack, if students are dropping too many classes, or they're not passing the classes, they have to retake them, there is a possibility that the Department of Ed would make us first put that student on probation and then possibly lose their benefits. Again, I hate bringing up a negative in a very positive atmosphere, but I do want to let you know that it's very important that the students work hard, study hard, go to class, and pass the classes. Because dropping a class is expensive. You take the class, you drop the class, you pay for the class, you got to take the class again, you pay for the class again, and it also puts you out a little bit further for graduation. So the goal is to take your classes, pass all your classes if possible, and we know that's, you're not possibly going to pass every single class you take, but pass those classes, don't drop the classes, finish, graduate, and get a job. That's the key. Anyway, I'm here to answer questions if you have any questions afterwards. Hope I didn't put you to sleep. It's not exciting stuff, but do that, get all that done. See that? Another exciting slide. Call the numbers, get to know your financial aid representative, get this stuff done so you don't have to worry about it. We're there to help you, and good luck, and we hope to see everyone at graduation. Thank you.
Joe Villaro, everybody. Thank you, Joe. All right, now to help your students succeed in the classroom and all the support they will need, we've got the best person to explain it all to you. Kate Griffith is the Executive Vice President of Educational Support Services. Welcome, Kate. Come on up.
Thank you, Jan. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here this morning online and in person and for partnering with us. I'm going to be very brief. The main message I'd like to say is please, if your sons or daughters need help, I'm the one to contact. Just as Mike said that he's available all hours of the night, which is really true, by the way. I've called him in the middle of the night and asked him to do things. We are incredibly committed to helping your sons and daughters succeed. That's why I've been here 27 years now. When I meet somebody at first, I'm very worried about, and then I see them at graduation, it's the happiest day of my life. I'm super committed to this, so I just want you all to understand that. Let me see if I can get this. It's not moving. There we go. So I have this last name that is incredibly difficult to spell. My whole life, people have been correcting it. ITH, ETH. So I have an email at the Academy that is just simply kate@academyart.edu. So it makes it very easy. You can just say my first name, Kate. That's, I guess, one of the benefits I have from being here as long as I have. So please contact me, again, if you're worried, and we really, really appreciate you partnering with us. I think that's something for me that makes this school incredibly special and unique, is that I went to a very big undergraduate and graduate school, and I really had no idea who was in charge of educational support, the help for students to succeed. I really had no idea who was in charge of security. But here, even though we're a big school too, a large art and design university, we really, as President Stevens has set up and Sue Raleigh mentioned, we're a family, and we really want to take care of everybody and make sure everything works well. So these are some of our student leaders with President Stevens. I'm going to give you a very quick overview of some of our services, but it's going to be very quick because I'm sure you're on information overload. You won't remember everything anyway. So at the end, I'll give you a link, and again, you can always contact me. We have workshops, as Sue Raleigh mentioned, and these are all in the art and design departments, and they're taught by faculty. These are not students who are teaching these workshops. They are professionals, working professionals. As Sue Raleigh mentioned, part of our mission is to have working professionals teach your sons and daughters so they're the very best in their fields, and they also provide support within the academic departments to the students at the university. Oh, it's just not wanting to move that much. There we go. We also have, as Jan mentioned, we have a very international and diverse student body. We have students from well over 100 countries from all around the world, which is tremendous. What an opportunity in your life to become more marketable and to understand the world at large and the art and design world. And so we have a lot of tremendous resources and support for international students. And that includes in the art and design classes. We have lots of labs here, both online and on site. All of our services are available online and on site, and we have recently really expanded services online for hybrid students, students studying on site, online, and our online only students. We also have extensive services for students with disabilities, individualized services, and if any of you have specific questions about that, I can give you some information at the end of the time of orientation this morning. And as I mentioned, we have online academic support, we have coaching, and we have a lot of services there. All right, so I think you could try to take a picture of this if you want, but it may be too hard, far away. Basically, if you go to our main website, which is academyart.edu, I'm sure, how many of you are familiar with that website? Most everybody. That's the main website. You can get a lot of information about the university there. So if you look up Academy Resource Center, which is the name of the area that I oversee, and the nickname is ARC, A-R-C, on the main web page, you can get an overview of all the services available. But better yet, if you're interested or worried about something, contact me at kate@academyart.edu, and I'll make sure you get hooked up with people who can support your sons or daughters. All right, so that's it. Thank you so much. Please come say hello. Good
Bring
luck.
it up.
I hope it's a wonderful semester.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Kate. All right, couple last things. We're going to show you our email, but first, how many of you are able to get this as you came in the door? This is a Smart Start for parents. Yes? Hold them up. Smart Start for parents, right? If you didn't get one, we're going to give you one on the way out. You can also find this on the website. This has everything you ever wanted to know about everything, from clubs to athletics. You know, we're Division II NCAA sports here. In fact, I met soccer parents, and it's about the dorms, it's about buses, it's about safety, it's about the meal plan. Yes, parents, it's about the meal. We actually have good food. I will say that. I know, it's surprising, right? But I will say that. We actually have good food. And so definitely, and as Lauren said, there's also a list about how to get jobs for your students. So definitely pick up one of these. You already have it. Smart Start, it's on the website. Now, one more thing, parent services right here, academyart.edu. Here's a number you can call for all the information you ever wanted to know. We are all here to support you. And once again, you are now, as of today, you are part of the AAU family. And we want to make sure that all the Emilys and all your students will succeed. So we want to thank you for coming today. We're going to be here to talk to you, to answer any last questions you may have. I also want you to make sure that you get one of these newspapers. How many of you got, you have some? Yeah? Oh, you got them? Great, great, great. If you don't have it, please pick it up. This paper is full of information about your student asking, well, what do I need to do for the first day of classes? Right here. We will tell them, get your IDs, number one, where to take the buses, how to get your art supplies and textbooks, where to get those art supplies and textbooks. Everything's there. And lots of fun things, by the way, and we're going to tell your student at the next session about mixers that we have, about the 25 clubs that we have, from comic books to animation to game, esports. We have a Brandon mixer. We've got sports and activities. So everything you want to know right here in this paper. And again, thank you for coming. Thank you for being part of the AAU family. Let's have a great semester.